Before we get to our last performance movie, let's do a quick Friday recap. So far this week, we've seen Rory McIlroy keeping belief alive for 17 years before finally winning the Masters. We saw Simone Biles showing us that the most nervous she'd ever been in her life still produced a world title. And 7 Days in Utopia taught us that life is so much more than a score. And Michael Jordan asked the question that should be our filter for every fearful thought. Why would I even think about missing a shot I haven't even taken yet? Well, today I'm going to close the week with one more documentary. This one is called Full Swing, and it's on Netflix. It's a behind the scenes look at life on the PGA Tour, and I admit that I have been binging it lately. There are 4 seasons, and it follows the best golfers in the world. You know, some players who've won majors, some who've been ranked number 1. I mean, these guys have millions of dollars and millions of fans. And we get the inside scoop on their ups and downs, and basically, we find out that they're fighting the same mindset battles we are. So my favorite so far is season 2, episode 3, which is titled Mind Game. So no surprise there. It follows the story of Wyndham Clark, who had been stuck in a pattern of pretty serious negativity on the course, like getting really angry, cursing himself, smacking clubs against bags. And it showed up all over TV and, of course, in his scores. So he was in definite need of some emotional regulation, as we've talked about. And he did start working with a sports psychologist. And 5 months afterwards, so 5 months of intentional mindset work, he went on to win the US Open. So there are 2 things I heard him say that I think Cowgirl Up listeners will appreciate. The first is, he said, pretty much all the way up until this year, I've always felt and feared the bad things that are going to happen more than believing the good things are. Now I truly have a belief that good things are going to happen. Well, we've talked about that, right? How that, fear cycle is fed by our fantasies that we play of the worst case scenarios, and that we have to purposefully, intentionally make ourselves think instead about what we want to happen. And then listen to this one. Wyndham said, anytime I think about results, I typically don't get the result I want. But when I stay in my process and do the things I can do well, I succeed. Well, hello, 95-5 rule, right? Focusing on the process rather than the outcome. We just covered that a couple of weeks ago. And there are many other powerful stories that you can check out through the 4 seasons of the show. But here's what Full Swing makes impossible to ignore. Every player on the PGA Tour is fighting to develop and maintain their mental toughness. And the ones who figure it out, who get the right support, do the daily work, and master their mindset through consistent action, they do rise to the top. And that's true for us too, because the mental game doesn't care what level we're at. It shows up at every level. And the tools that work for a pro like Wyndham Clark work for us too. So here's the thread that ran through this entire week. The best in the world fight the same battles we do. And the ones who get help when help is needed, do the daily mental game work, and trust the process are the ones who break through. So that's the message of this week in one sentence. And it also happens to be our power statement. do the work, trust the process, and believe in myself. So let's say it together to finish out the week. Chin up, shoulders back, say it like you mean it. I do the work, trust the process, and believe in myself. So take that with you this weekend and come back next week because we're going to be talking about pressure, what it actually is, whether it's real, and most importantly, how to handle it. So have a wonderful weekend and we'll see you on Monday.